while it's discouraging that they're very committed to continuing from past behavior, we do plan to stick with it, and I'm very excited to see what this will look like in the next day, 2 and 3, as we roll out the plan that we've been discussing.
Thank you, Stephanie. Great news.
Isn't that fantastic news? I can't even tell you how happy I am. I don't even live in Aguadalce, and I'm so happy. Then there was another, we've been getting a lot of calls of complaint about the Deer Glen property that's been also going on for quite a while, and I should probably read exactly how County Council put that, different attorneys. Bear with me 1 second. I don't know if anyone's on the call that it has interest or concern about Deer Glen, but Mary, for your records, County Council is in the process of reviewing all the facts for the warrant that they're preparing. This warrant will potentially allow for Public Works to submit an application to abate and access that property as well. So that's also been, I'm sad to say, a huge nuisance to many of those folks living around that property, and we are fully committed to dealing with that as well. So it's gone on too long, but we're in it.
Stephanie, you said Deer Glen. Is that Sweetwater Springs, the Mid Canyon?
No. But I'm glad you brought that up. No, Deer Glen is just a private property that is, I guess would be considered a nuisance abatement, issue.
It's where the junk piles are. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and it's been ongoing. It's been ongoing for and cars and vehicles and so forth. It's been ongoing for a while, and I've been talking to some of the residents surrounding that property. But Mary, thank you. The Sweetwater Mid Canyon. We've gotten reports that we aren't able to validate at this point that the Gardens of Paradise folks are now utilizing those properties. And we have County Council and the District Attorney looking into that now, and so we're taking the same approach. Sharon, did you have something on that?
I am a neighbor at Sweetwater Springs.
Okay.
Oh, we lost her.
We lost you, Sharon.
Hold on a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. They are having venues, very loud venues. And
we've heard that.
I'm a little concerned about the neighborhood. And there's a next door now for loud music and parties. But I mean, everybody's getting a little riled. I'm a little worried and want to know legally, what the heck can we do? Well, because at this point, we're ready to revolt.
Well, I don't blame you. That's what we're looking into. We're looking into. I think we do know it's not zoned for that type of activity. So we're looking into what the issues are there. And again, as I say, we have the district attorney looking into that along with county council, and we're gathering more information. So we're going to take the same course of action on those properties as we have been with Gardens of Paradise.
Stephanie, a question.
I just want to let everybody know. In the emails that are going back and forth along my neighbors. That's why I'm here to represent my neighbors.
And Sharon,
let them know what is happening.
I don't know if it was already covered or not. I had a little trouble logging on today, but make sure that you guys are calling every single time they do have an incident, and get an incident number from the sheriff's department and everything, so we keep on documenting it and getting them for the noise. Because that's going to start the paper trail, and that's how we got Gardens. I know it's a frustrating process, but as Stephanie already kind of touched on, the hard work is paying off, and so we have to encourage you guys to keep on calling. We'll keep on going out and citing and stuff, and you guys have my number. And shoot me an email or a phone call.
Might ask you for your email or something again. I called last party they had, which wasn't last weekend but the weekend before. Even at 11 o'clock at night, I got told that nobody was reporting it and she didn't know what I was talking about. So I was a little discouraged that the police department seemed to be blowing me off.
Stephanie, I have a question about...
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'll put it in the chat so everyone can have it.
Yeah, and Orlando, make sure that the desk knows that, you know, all shifts that we need to cover those calls and document those calls. I'm sure they know. I mean, Orlando, you probably weren't on when I sang your praises and the department's praises about, you know, how involved you've been and how much work it's been on your end as well. So I wanted to publicly thank you. But just make sure the desk knows that when people call, we have to document for the process. Yeah.
And I think the issue that sometimes gets overlooked is that, you know, obviously this doesn't happen overnight, so it is a long process. But also you have to realize these people that own the property, they have property rights too. And so it's something where it's got to go through the channels, unfortunately, and sometimes justice runs slowly. But I think if Gardens of Paradise gets shut down and they get hit with some fines, that word's going to spread too. And hopefully that'll start to shut down the ideas that people have toward turning their property into a party property. And so I think it's something where it's like Officer Martinez says, we need to report everything so that they can get a paper trail so that when they go before the judge, they can present all the evidence, and obviously that's part of the evidence right there. I can't, you know, I don't think the sheriff's going to show up and you know, kick everybody off the property, but they're going to do what they can to go through the legal proceedings so that once they get it closed down, it'll remain closed down for good rather than just stopping one party at a time. Is that correct?
Yeah, Don, that's pretty much spot on. I mean, if eventually we get a court order or anything on any of these other properties that speculates that we can take them, that we can shut them down, then we have every right to do so then at that point. Right now, as far as Mint Canyon and stuff, there is no court order or anything. So right now, getting the noise, and that way our county council can show, look, this is a nuisance property. This is what's going on in the neighborhood. It's all documented. And now with the addition of our body cams, like there's even video footage of all our calls we go to. So if the judge wants to show the scope of everything that we're doing and how big it is in that neighborhood, it's going to be on film. So it all helps.
Great.
Well, and Dawn, to your point about property rights, in the example of Gardens of Paradise, they don't have property rights, but they do have attorneys that know how to, you know, delay, duck, evade,
Right.
you know, argue with the court. The courts are conservative, generally speaking, about making sure no one's personal rights are being trampled on by government, which is great, but that's the part that's slow. And with the other venues in town, I could be wrong, but I do believe that they are not properly permitted and or zoned. I do believe that there has been citations, but I've got to follow up on that. But again, we're taking the same steps, Mary, that we did with Gardens. And I'm sorry for our adult community.
Well, Coyote Creek and Mint Canyon have both been cited a couple times.
Okay.
I meant from Public Works, notices of violations. I think they've had notices of violations, but I'm going to have to follow up on that.
But so I think, Sharon, it's important that you and your neighbors call each time there is an event over to the Palmdale Sheriff's Station and get is it a tag number, Deputy Martinez? Yeah, a tag number so that it's documented, because that's really the only way that paper trail keeps going. And it's a long and slow process, and it's miserable to have to deal with. And I feel sorry for all of the neighbors who have endured this. But there is light at the end of the tunnel with what's happened with Gardens. So, and I think there's precedent set that what you've done with Gardens works, so we can move that into some of these other illegal venues.
Yeah. So, and it has worked well, Sharon, for if the community, if Mary doesn't mind to continue this, if they communicate with Mary and Mary lets me know. So I'm staying apprised, and Mary's kept me up to speed on everything that's been happening in the community. That's helpful. And then just a reminder, we don't know what Gardens will do. Tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. So stay tuned. Again, we're gonna take full enforcement. We just don't know what the reaction to that will be and to what extent they'll go to allow or to move around our barriers to bring people in. But as I've said, Sheriff's Department by court order is allowed to go in and remove people from the property.
Great. Okay, thank you very much, Stephanie. Anything else you want to add on any other subjects?
Oh, one other subject. Mary, I think you brought this up to me. I can't remember who brought it up. As you know, in the Antelope Valley, there is quite a massive concern with illegal grows, actually, related to cartels and folks bootlegging some water. And I'm hearing that it's mostly up, in the northern part of Antelope Valley. But someone has let me know that there are some reports of other grows. Orlando probably knows more about that. The supervisor is, highly engaged in this. She'll be doing a flyover with the Sheriff's Department sometime, I think, in the next few days, and is working very closely with the whole district attorney's team to try to do what we can to stop this nonsense. I think I'll let Congressman Garcia's office speak to that, but I think they're also engaged, which is fantastic because, going from the federal side to the state side would be very helpful.
Great.
I think that's it, John. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right. Next up, we have U.S. 25th District Congressional District Mike Garcia's representative, Jackie Owens, is with us here tonight. Jackie?
Well, thank you, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for time. And I will follow up on that illegal grow topic. I'll just pick up nice segue. First, I want to thank Mary for attending Congressman Garcia's roundtable discussion last week. I hope she found that useful. Unfortunately, I didn't get to really talk to her at length, but this has been an issue that the Congressman's office has been working probably since about September or October of last year. And it was started with calls to our office regarding grows in the eastern part of the valley. And the Congressman met with some of the constituents in April. April he did the flyover, or March he did a flyover with the sheriff, had a large community meeting, and went back to D.C. to really meet with his legislative team to find out what can we do on the federal level. So a brief overview is this, and I want to first say thank you to Supervisor Barter, because she had acknowledged the urgency of the matter in the joint meeting with both cities on Monday. And it's pretty clear to the Congressman as well that this has got to be a multi-agency effort. We have to bring the cities on board, the county on board, the state on board, and the federal agency on board. It's been identified as a transnational criminal organization. Transnational criminal organization. And what that means is that there's many foreign nationals purchasing properties in our valley. And it's Russian, Chinese, and Armenian ethnicities that are purchasing. As you know, in Actontown, they've been buying up large houses and turning them to indoor grows. In the eastern and western valley, they're buying up large swaths of land. But where the Latino community comes in is a lot of these folks are brought over as indentured servants and have to work off their travel expense getting here from over the border. It's a travesty on so many levels. There's the human travesty of these folks coming in and not having anybody to represent them or help them. There's water theft that is huge. These guys are very, very smart. They have great equipment. In some cases, they're using high-powered devices to go right into the state aqueduct and fill up these large water trucks. They're also going into water districts and stealing water directly from the hydrants. And then there's a lot of resources over the San Bernardino and water, bringing them into LA County. So there's that issue. There's also the issue of just the product itself. We're talking about a black market product. This is not legal marijuana that's happening. It's illegal. It's black market. And as a result, it's not regulated. So the product itself, as it grows in our valley floors, a lot of you know that our water has a high arsenic rate. So that's getting brought up into the plant, as well as a lot of pesticides that are being used and just used recklessly, and that seeps into the water table in a lot of our areas. And lastly, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. One of them grows up in the Eastern Valley. The sheriff figured that it sits up on the butte, just southeast of Saddleback Butte. You can see it. It's huge. That grow alone generates anywhere from $15 to $20 million a year. So you multiply that times 700 to 1,000 grows in the valley. It's just amazing. So it's just I don't know. I don't want to misquote the congressman, but it's a severe situation that's growing rapidly, and it's hindering the quality of life of a lot of residents in the Antelope Valley, as well as their safety. And so, again, he's going to be working with the supervisor, our state representatives, as well as the representatives with the cities. We met both with Lancaster and Palmdale on a Tuesday, and it was a very successful Monday. So I feel like I'm throwing a lot at you. I'm just going to pause here for a second and open it up for any questions. If anybody has any questions, and I know Mary was at the meeting, so she can also speak on the subject.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is it is heartbreaking to see the farmers that have been regulated with water and are losing some of their crops based on their lack of having good water, and then having these illegal grows right next to them with armed guards stealing water directly out of the aqueduct. It's heartbreaking.
So if I can add to Jackie, our narco team met with the sheriff this week and to talk about the indoor grow houses. Actontown doesn't really have an outdoor problem. That's more of like the Little Rock, middle of the desert, San Bernardino area problem. Ours are, like, all of them are inside. They're all indoor grows. And originally, years ago, there would be a marijuana team and there'd be a narcotics team, and they could allocate resources that way. Well, years back, just because of funding and stuff, they combined them into one team, and so they're kind of double dipping. They're doing a little bit of everything. So they met with the sheriff earlier this week to try to discuss about breaking them up and making it designated just for grow houses to address the problem. That way, they're not doing some of this and handling all the. Our narcotics bureau also handles all the arrests narcotics related. So if a patrol deputy makes an arrest in the city, methamphetamine or something, or anything that's drug related, narcotics detectives are the ones that do all the follow-up for it. And that obviously ties their hands and not resources for that. So that it sounds like it's going to go back to how it used to be, and they're going to have some more resources available to them that way. So yeah.
If I can just comment on that as well, that was one of the things that our office and Congressman Garcia wanted to assist with. The marijuana task force is funded by a grant from the DEA, and that's really, it's a part-time task force. The funding is woefully short compared to the enormous need out there. Combine that with the fact that the LA County Sheriff's Department has been cut, I think, $111 million. So they've really been asked to do a lot with the, and I think the bad guys know that. These illegal growers know that. And so they're taking full advantage of this opportunity to make money while they can. I do want to say I've had the privilege of working alongside the narcotics detectives as we've gathered information on this case and just tried to find a way that we can work with them and be a partner with them to solve this issue. And I am just so impressed with the quality of these men and women who work so hard. And they're residents. They're people who live in our community, and they care a great deal about what happens here, and they recognize that this is a huge problem. So, Deputy Martinez, I hope that you can convey that to your brothers and sisters over there. We appreciate what you're doing, and we recognize that it's a daunting task, and Congressman Garcia is working hard to make sure that we can assist on the federal funding for you.
Great.
Thank you. I'll convey that.
All right. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Officer Martinez, you said that the stuff that we've got in Acton and I would also say are the indoor grows, but that's still illegal.
Correct.
Correct?
Right. Yes, but it's a different animal than outdoor grows. So outdoor grows, like on Little Rock side, that's where they tap into other people's wells or steal from the fire hydrants and stuff like that. This is more hydroponics kind of setups. So you're going to have like stealing electricity more than water because the water use is actually kind of minimal. And they're just looking for any properties with barns, because they're so hard to get the permits for and everything. The infrastructure's there. They don't care about the house. The well's decent and they got a barn. They have an operation.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can change some of the well capacity tests outputs here. So maybe sell a few less homes. But yeah, I agree with you as far as the people that are buying the homes. They don't seem like the normal people that that move into Agua Dulce and Acton. But it's what it is, and we can deal with it and just keep everybody informed on it. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Jackie, for joining us. This time we're going to go back to the agency.
You are welcome. Thank you for all you guys do.
Oh, yeah, you bet. We're going to go back to the agency reports and start off with Highway Patrol, if we have any representative there from the Highway Patrol, which I don't see him. So we'll hold that open, and we'll go straight to Los Angeles County Sheriff, Resident Deputy Martinez. You're on.
So good news, I was looking at those stats, and for the month of April, we had 0 Part 1 crimes and also 0 Part 2 crimes. So we didn't have anything going on in April, apparently.
Okay.
So that's good.
Okay.
We already touched on the parties and as far as the marijuana grows and stuff. If you suspect you have a grow in your neighborhood or your neighbor or whatever, you can obviously report anonymously. Send me an email with the address, and that's all we need. We don't need pictures. We don't want residents to put themselves in any kind of risk or anything like that. You give us an address. Our narco detectives and I will do whatever follow-up we need to do. We need to articulate our own probable cause for a search warrant. So you going around taking pictures and documenting a bunch of stuff, it's all for naught, basically. If you can say, hey, yeah, I smell it. They got bars on the windows. It smells like skunk or whatever. This is what's going on. Okay, yeah, we can put a surveillance team on it and kind of monitor it and go from there. They are hooking and booking right now because they are doing up 4 to 5 search warrants a week throughout the Antelope Valley. That's a lot. It's 5 guys on the team for our narco team, and that's a lot of investigation work and surveillance, and then hitting the houses on the search warrants. They get some help with our cops bureau for that. But so they're keeping a very fast pace on this stuff. Unfortunately, as you guys know, houses are selling like hotcakes, and so they take down 5, 10 might pop up next week, kind of thing. And we're just going at it, but we're hitting them one by one.
Okay. Great, we appreciate that. Anybody have any questions for Officer Martinez? All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us here tonight. Next up, we have Los Angeles County Fire Department. Is Maria with us tonight?
Maria is not with us, but I do have her report. And for the month of April, there were 2 fires, and the fires were both brush fires. The one was called the Winery Fire that was at Sierra and Agua Dulce Canyon.
Yep.
And the other one was northbound on the 14 off of Escondido. Both were about an acre. And then there was 15 medical calls, 2 service calls, and 6 good intent calls.
Great. Nice and light. That's the way we like it. Okay, next up we have Actontown librarian, Jim Wall. I'm sure he's with us.
Yes, I'm here. How's everyone doing?
Good. How about you, Jim?
So far, so good.
Good.
So I've got the big news I have is that effective Monday, a couple days ago, the library is now open for limited in-person services. Okay. It means you can come in, you can browse for books, you can use the computers. Computer time is limited at this point to 1 hour a day. You can pick up your holds, you can get reference questions asked, all that sort of thing. We do have all the social distancing guidelines in place. Masks are required. So we have all that going on. At the same time, though, we are still offering the sidewalk service. So if someone is still not comfortable coming into the library or they just want to pick things up the easy way, we're still offering that service to them. And I just want to touch also on our hours. We do have a limited hours right now. We are Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then on Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. 1 hour prior to that, we do start our sidewalk service. So there's an hour exclusively set aside for sidewalk service.
Great.
See you then. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we have California 38th Assembly District Assembly Member Suzette Martinez Valadares. And we have Javier here, and we also have Patsy. So I don't know, I haven't been...
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Mary. Good to see everyone. Javier Reyes here, extension of the work that your State Assemblywoman Suzette Valadares is doing in the state capitol in Sacramento. When we last visited back on April 14th, we covered several bills. I wanted to give you a brief update on those bills. Assembly Bill 267. This is the wildfire fuel reduction bill. It would streamline the process so we can more responsibly manage our grasslands, brush, and forests. It is now past the Assembly and headed to the Senate. In addition to that, Assemblywoman Valadares was successful in getting Assembly Bill 277 passed. This is going to protect victims of domestic violence. Currently, resources are only in English, and we realize that a number of those that are victims of domestic violence and human trafficking do not speak English. And that bill, to translate those resources into multiple language, 5 to be exact, including Spanish, Chinese, Mandarin, etc., has passed on into the Senate. We're very pleased to share that Assemblywoman Valadares is launching her 38th Assembly District Advisory Council. What this is, community leaders like you applying to serve on this council for the next 2 years and advise and help your Assemblywoman prioritize what legislation needs to be heard and voted on first. In addition to that, we want you to be a voice as to how she votes on important policy decisions. Just a few moments ago, I emailed that 38th Assembly District Advisory Council application to Mary. Thank you, Mary, in advance for circulating that. We want everyone to apply. We want you to have direct access to what your Assemblywoman is voting on. There is no deadline to submit that application. We will, though, have that first advisory meeting once council members are selected in mid-June. So I encourage all of you, take a look at the 2-page application. It's very clear. And please submit that. There's no idea too big or too small. It matters to your Assemblywoman. She wants your voice heard. With that said, we continue to work tirelessly to resolve cases, whether it be Department of Motor Vehicles or an unemployment case with the Employment Development Department. We'll always put our contact information there in the chat. And of course, I want to welcome the newest member to Assemblywoman Valadares' staff, a friendly face you may recognize, Miss Patsy Ayala, who's transferred from Senator Scott Wilkes' office. You'll see her reporting as well. Patsy, would you please share a few comments?
Thank you. Well, thank you for the welcome, coming back to my friends in the area. I'm here, to assist you in any issue with the state of California. I'm happy to come back to the assembly. That's where I met this wonderful community, and I'm glad now to be representing Assemblywoman Valla. I say in Spanish, Valladares, and of course, very thankful for the opportunity with Senator Wilk that I had before, and for he helped me with the transfer. So thank you, and you have us now, Javier and me, to help you in anything related with the state.
Okay, great. Well, fantastic. Are you still connected with Scott Wilk at all, as far as finding out what's happening with any of the Senate Bill 55 seems to be a big concern locally, and there's a couple other ones Mary brought up that kind of sound almost identical to SB 55. So do you have anything you can share with us on those two items?
I can, no, I don't have any update now, but definitely we can take a look. And we are your California team, of course. We are going to be working hand by hand and as a California team with the Senator Wilk. But we can, any bill, regardless if it's Assembly or the Senate, it has to be with California, bring it to our attention so we can, because we can follow the status and the updates. And at the same time, since our two legislators are in Sacramento, of course, they can work as a team.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Javier, do you have anything to add to that as far as the as far as any update on SB 55 or what was the other bill you mentioned?
The SB 55 is Senator Stern's bill, correct?
Yep, that's
that would
correct.
Restrict development based on wildfire areas.
Yes.
We've advised Assemblywoman on that bill. It's very alarming. She has not cast a vote on it yet because, of course, it's still in the Senate. But again, she believes in local control when it comes to development and planning.
Okay.
Okay, Javier, just another one that came up, because I listened to the hearing on SB 55, SB 12, which is very similar. McGuire was the one who introduced that, and it is pretty much very similar, identical to the issues surrounding SB 55.
Got it. Thank you, Mary. I'm going to bring that one to the Assemblywoman's attention. We're actually briefing her tomorrow on a number of the Senate bills that have been cause for alarm. So thank you for that in advance.
And the next hearing is on next week on May 17th for that one. So yes, thank you for bringing that to the attention to our office.
Great. Anybody else have anything for them? If not, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us here tonight. Look forward to hearing you back next month.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You take care. Thank you. Next up, we have, do we have anybody here from Scott Wilk's office for any comment? I don't think we do. So we've heard basically, and I see Mary's got SB 12 down there, McGuire. So if Patsy and Javier, if you can get back to us with an update on that next meeting, we'd appreciate it. Or if there's anything urgent that happens, send us an email. All right. Thank you very much. Next up, we have President's Report. And at this time, we had no incoming correspondence for action, but we do have incoming correspondence for notice. The items for notice is Aguadosi Canyon Road Phase 1 resurfacing project is scheduled for May 3rd through May 14th. So that should be wrapping up in 2 days. Burke Road, which is south of the 14, North Escondido Canyon Road. And I haven't been out to take a look at how it's going, but I haven't heard any real complaints about it, so I'm assuming everything's going okay. Maybe if they just kind of left that unpaved in front of Gardens of Paradise, that might be helpful, but we'll see. Those K-rails sound like a good plan there, that's for certain. Pet licensing amnesty program, April 15th through June 30th. Late fees are going to be waived this year for renewed or new license and free microchipping for licensed pets. So you want to make sure that your pets are licensed and you get that free microchip. Regional planning has some plans filed for Spring Canyon, which is over there off at Davenport Road, for a new WCF, which is a wireless cellular facility, I believe, from AT&T, and a backup generator. Actually, it's not a new cell site. It's for the backup generator, which I believe is now required for them to have. On Darling Road, we have some temporary lodging, Airbnb, planning that they're hoping to get approved. And on Davenport Road, a proposed solar panel carport. Wise Road has remodel of a single-family residence to use as a residential care facility for 2 non-ambulatory and 2 ambulatory individuals. That's a total of 4. And at Pepper Tree Market, they've applied for the existing cargo containment that they have on the business property there. So good for them. Next up, we have open forum. Anybody who's brought an item that they would like to discuss with us here in attendance, we will limit you to 3 minutes to go ahead and speak your mind with whatever you wish to share. And now's that opportunity. If you can raise your hand or say here or something like that, we'll call on you. Okay, if not, next report up is Santa Clara River Watershed Area Steering Committee, Measure W. Report from Mary Johnson.
Okay, Don. And I believe Peter Massey is on with us tonight. Peter is our Watershed Coordinator, and I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow, along with some reps from the Actontown Council. And we're going to tour some areas along the river that are of concern. And I know we've expressed concern in the past on some of those older campgrounds in the river and poor or non-working septic systems.
Right.
And I think that's a big concern for safe water, safe, clean water in the Santa Clara River. So I'm hoping that we can talk to Peter and see if we can't come up with some type of a plan on what we might be able to do there. Peter, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I wanted to say hi to everybody. And Mary, I wanted to express my gratitude to you for sending me the invitation for today. And I look forward to learning more on our tour tomorrow.
Great. Sounds good. We appreciate you being with us here tonight, Peter. Thank you. Anything else to add to that, Mary?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, great. With that being concluded, we're going to move right on to high-speed rail update by Pam Walter, if Pam's out there, which I don't think she is. We'll wait to get an update on high-speed rail next time she visits us. As far as the committee reports, we have the ones that are active is the Highway Patrol Community Advisory Committee, Candy Clementi. Do you have anything to report, Candy?
Nope, nothing, no meeting.
Okay, all right. And Bylaws Revision Committee, anything to report there?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Election Committee, I see we have Rosie here tonight. Rosie, are you still there?
I'm here. Nothing to report. I'm still waiting for the COVID-19 to go under control, to resume. And I don't know the real laws, what we need to do if we go into 2021 or 22 elections after that, because it's right in the middle of the year, so we'll have to discuss that part. I don't know the rules on that one, how we can resume that. But anyway, in the meantime, the 3 incumbents were Don Henry, Scott Keller, and Ed Carter, and we had, like I said, we're just, they are staying in the post until we decide what to do after the COVID-19 is under control. So that's where we are.
Okay.
We're waiting for the county, we're waiting for you guys, the committee's waiting for you guys.
Great, thank you. Appreciate your reporting, Rosie. Film Committee from Candy.
There were 10 jobs.
And no problem.
None that I heard of.
Hey, Kane.
Okay, me neither. That's good news.
Not a problem. We've tried
issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, keep us posted on that. Land stewardship. Ed's not here, but I think we all know what's happening with the real estate market. It's gone absolutely crazy. Things are selling that nobody had any idea what it was worth. They put it on the market, and a day later, it's worth $100,000 more. So, you know, it's pretty amazing. But I'm glad we still have the community that we have, and a lot of people are just appreciative that they live here, and I'm one of them. Parks and Trails, Mary Johnson.
Nothing too much to add from last month. There is a beautiful wildlife mural over by where the interpretive center is. They have a bird. The captive birds are behind it, but it is absolutely beautiful. And I think Stephanie was involved with getting that out there, so thank you to Stephanie. And just an FYI, Stephanie, we still would like that Sweetwater Movie Land Ranch property that's up for sale.
I was just sending you a chat message on that. I actually got in touch with our parks deputy, and she and I have a phone call to discuss that. And the mural, by the way, there is a date in June. The supervisor is going to be there to do an unveiling. We would love for, of course, the town council and the community to come out to that. And I'll be sending you all a flyer invitation with details. But yes, Mary, I have a call slated, and we'll be triggering that conversation.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Along those same lines, Stephanie, I think if they keep a tally of what the legal costs are for Gardens of Paradise when they're all done, if they deduct that from the asking price for the Sweetwater Movie Ranch or whatever it is, they can probably end up getting it free.
Duly noted, Dawn.
We need to get a little thermometer planted over there on Aguadossi Canyon Road and have it go up each time another $100,000 to spend on attorneys. But anyway, that's one thing. If the county owned it, then we know that there wouldn't be issues like are happening at Garden of Paradise. Is my main point. And I think you got that. Next up, we have Ways and Means. Troy and Scott, neither one are here, so I'm assuming everything on the Ways and Means is going absolutely fine. Disaster Planning, Gary, are you here? Okay, I don't hear him. But those of you, as we're starting to head into wildfire season, and the website that he's got there works out great as far as getting any current up-to-date information. Also, the K-Hits local radio station has some pretty good coverage when things start to break out. Actontown would also say School Board Liaison. Ed's not here. So we'll see if anybody else have anything to add for Actontown would say School. All right. If not, we have Actontown Council Liaison, Lillian Smith. I think she's with us here tonight.
She is here, and she's unable to use her microphone, so she put in the chat box that they are working on grow houses, CSD revisions, trails, interim and supportive housing ordinance, and more. They're now meeting in person at the Acton Community Club, and also PSPS and Dollar General.
Okay.
So thank you, Lillian.
Thank you. And she keeps up on everything. And that concludes the committee reports. Now we're on to the announcements, which we do have 2 landfill vouchers available for a half-ton trash at Supervisor Barger's Lancaster office. Now, you don't drop your trash off at Barger's Lancaster office, but you pick up the vouchers there, so I'll let you into the landfill free of charge. But keep in mind, it's a half a ton of trash, which is about 1,000 pounds. So you want to call to reserve and arrange pickup of those vouchers. And the phone number there, I'll read it off here, 661-726-3600. Next up, we have the Association of Rural Town Councils meeting. It's going to be held May 26th of this month. And they're going to be meeting via Zoom. And our next regular meeting, Agtc Town Council, is June 9th, and it will also be held Zoom. Do we know how the women's club, are they under construction right now, or they're getting ready to start construction or something like that?
They are in the midst of demo, and I would say it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 months that they're going to be down. So.
And traditionally we go dark in August.
Correct.
Which I probably might do this year also.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sounds like it may be a while before we all get back together in person, but I hope this is working out good for everybody out there. It seems like we get good community participation, and those that have other events planned for the evening, they can join us for the time they have available, and then still go on and do what they need to do, whereas before, a lot of times they would just skip coming to our meeting altogether. So it's good to have the response that we've had. We don't have any unfinished business, and new business, I think, is just the ongoing trying to control the party venues that are happening out here. Future agenda items, one was the Cali Lake RV conditional use permit renewal. I believe they were going to gather some more information and come back and visit us.
Sean,
and also the,
can I just provide an update on that? I'm sorry to jump in again.
Oh, good. Let's hear it.
They will be going to the technical advisory committee, and as best I understand it, and I'm sorry this is vague, but as best I understand it, they hadn't made changes that would have likely caused the TAC to potentially not support what they were doing. They pulled their date to present to the TAC, to the Technical Advisory Committee, and they're going to try to make the required changes. Okay. So the county has been working, for years now, very closely to be very accommodating,
right.
And it's been very challenging.
Okay.
So they've decided, I think, in their best interest to pull back and do some of the things that need to be done.
Okay, great. Thanks for that update. With that said, I think we're at the end here. We have LA County Public Works trash collection contract, which may be discussed at one of the future meetings. Other than that, I think if I can get a motion to adjourn, we can close this thing up before it strikes 8 o'clock.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I will second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all for showing up. Be sure to put your chairs away. See you in a month.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Congratulations, Patsy.
Thank you. Happy to be back. Bye.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Thanks again, Mary, for all the hard work.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Bye.